Hello everyone, welcome back to another banner reaction. I'm DTM as always, and we have with us the Emblem Hero banner. And this is exciting because it is our third Emblem Hero, and it has been confirmed that we're not going in order, so who knows what it's going to be with Ike's release. And yeah, there has been speculation, of course. It is likely it will be blue, because then we would have attuned Ivy, attuned Sita, and the next Emblem Hero, which would be a really, really good share, and would basically just carry this entire banner. So blue ones, I could see, like, obviously the obvious one is Sigurd with his lance. I would be very interested to see what they do with his Emblem Ring effect. You could have Lucina as well, which I'm kind of scared of. But yeah, nothing else to do but to get on our way. As always, if you like the content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell, all that jazz to help support the channel. It only takes 5 seconds to subscribe. It truly helps the channel a lot, and I really appreciate all the content support. And yeah, let us begin. Here we go. Okay, that is Echoes. Are we getting Celica? We are getting Celica. Is Celica going to be blue? I guess so. Yeah, so I guess this is mainly focusing on the light aspect, which I guess makes sense. Carrying magic. I see some warping, which makes sense given her mechanic in Engage. Warp Ragnarok is her perf. She has Resonance for us, and an Emblem effect. I see a boost special damage. Can warp near foes within 6 spaces of them, from what I read there. So yeah, this is similar to Warp Ragnarok. Warp Ragnarok in Engage. It is a perf, so Celica cannot pass this on to someone else. But it does mean that Celica herself will be pretty strong.
Warp Ragnarok.
Nice. Okay, I'm happy though. Celica is looking really cool. And yeah, blue is for light. I should have made that connection. I don't know why I was thinking red for fire. But Celica also does light magic. And so, yeah. Can also engage with other heroes. We do know that. And so, yeah, Celica will be our third one. Giving it to Celine. Immersion. Let's go. I used Celica on Celine, like, literally constantly.
Power blooms in me.
Gets a special power-up. Boost damage by units max special cooldown count value times 4 for each foe within 5 spaces. Unit can move to the nearest space. I see. Okay, so this is the warping effect. Wait. So we are getting a warping effect with the Emblem Ring. Okay. I thought that was only in Warp Ragnarok. Okay, I guess not. Alright, this is gonna be really fun though. This is like Gale Force. This is Gale Force City, and of course it's going to be really relevant in Summoner's Duels as well. Just being able to instantly warp in. And this also actually, now that I think about it, this helps counter a lot of the Omni-Tanks teams in Summoner's Duels, since you can just like warp into the support units and take them out and just literally like go around them. Of course, we do have to actually see how this actually works in full, besides my like very quick glance. So yeah, we'll do that now. I'm excited though, like I'm always down for like Lilith type effects and things like that. Alright, Celica, what do you have? What are your skills? As always, the art looks really good though. They've nailed it always on the art so far. Alright, let's see what we have. Carrying magic, we have Slaying. If unit initiates combat or is within 2 spaces of an ally, grants attack speed plus 6 to unit, grants bonus to units attack speed equals 20% of unit speed at start of combat, deals damage equals to 20% of unit speed excluding AoEs, neutralizes foes, bonuses to speed res, and grants special cooldown count -1 to unit before unit's first follow-up attack during combat. What? That's kind of weird. You don't get this for your first attack? That's the most important attack. And also, if unit initiates combat, unit can make a follow-up attack before foes next attack. Okay, so we have Desperation, and we have like the special jump, but only for the follow-up attack. Huh. That's interesting. So I guess the idea is that you want to pre-charge Warp Ragnarok. So you get the Warp Ragnarok, and then on the follow-up, you get another Warp Ragnarok, right? And so you can do that. So I presume you want to run something like times pulse 4 or like have some other way to accelerate your special or have like external like rally spectrum or something like that. Yeah, because then you can get Warp Ragnarok, which is 2 cooldown, to be instantly proc on the first hit, and then hit another Warp Ragnarok for the second hit. So that's really, really cool. It's a pretty simple weapon, all things considered, but it is very, very powerful in terms of damage. Because obviously specials are really, really good. Let's see what Warp Ragnarok does. Boost special damage by 25% of units attack. Okay, so boosting damage based off attack is very, very iffy because there's a lot of effects that are against that you'll be facing that would just reduce your attack. And so ideally you would want something like your own speed or like the enemy speed or things like that so that, you know, you're not as affected by daunt effects. And 25% of units attack, I guess like these days you can go to like 90, so that's like what, 20-ish extra damage. So it's not too bad, but again, you gotta be wary of daunt effects with that sort of thing. Okay, what else do you do? Unit can move through foes' bases. Okay, so you have pass, but not the anti-warping, or not the able get through like warp bubble, anything. For each foe within 6 spaces of unit, unit can move to the nearest bases that are 2 spaces away from that foe, unless base is impassable terrain. Okay, so for each foe within 6 spaces of unit, you can move to the nearest spaces that are 2 spaces away. So you can't just like warp behind the foe, right? It has to be the nearest spaces for those foes, but it's for each foe. And so that is within 6 spaces. So yeah. And it's like, and it has to be. So this is only applicable to really ranged units. You can't actually Gale Force off of this, which is kind of sad. Although this would actually work really, really well for someone like Brave Marianne. Thinking about it, that would actually be insane for Brave Marianne. What? Because Brave Marianne can provide the dance while still being able to attack at range, right? And obviously, this is really good for ranged nukes when it comes to Summoner's Duels. Although obviously you do need to like be very careful when it comes to that sort of thing. You actually have to get within like 6 spaces of that unit. So it remains to be seen how well this will work out in practice, but it's still very, very cool nonetheless. At start of turn, if unit's special cooldown count is at its maximum value, grants special cooldown count -1. Okay, so we have a times pulse in the Warp Ragnarok, so we don't actually need times pulse to pre-charge. It just pre-charges automatically, and you'll get the Warp Ragnarok again on the Desperation follow-up attack, assuming you can like do that, of course. So yeah, for foe, yeah, that is really, really strong. Again, I'm a bit worried about the damage so far because from what I can tell, there's no way to get through damage reduction. I assume that's in a skill, probably Resonance, I would imagine. Okay, so we have deals damage to 2 units as combat begins, equals to 20% of X. X being units max HP before entering battle -20. Max HP before entering battle means units max HP, excluding HP increases from legendary effects, method effects, bonus effects, etc. Activates only when unit can attack in combat. Effects that reduces damage during combat do not apply, will not reduce HPs below 1. Okay, so all this to say, all this clarification, basically you deal a bunch of damage to yourself. Just 20% of your own HP minus max HP. 20% of X is the unit's max HP minus 20, and that is excluding any like buffs from legendary mythics, etc. It only activates when unit can attack, so only on like, so you're not, so like if you're using this on a mage and you get attacked by a melee unit and you can't attack, you won't get this damage thing happening. And then it obviously cannot cannot kill yourself, basically. All right. Why do you deal damage to yourself? That's interesting. Inflict speed. I mean, it's speed. It's good for Gale Force, but obviously you would be running WOM 4 unless you're Initiator. Inflict speed res -4 on foe during combat. Unit deals damage equals to unit's HP at start of combat minus current HP times 2 during combat. Max 12, min 6, excluding AoE. So we get some true damage there. And reduces the percentage of foes non-special, reduces damage by X% skills by percentage equals to unit HP at start of combat minus current HP times 10 during combat, max 60%, minimum 30%. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I don't think this is that good. Unless I'm like misreading something here. Oh, here, actually, okay, never mind. I did misread it. This is reduces the percentage of foes non-special by percentage equals to units HP at start combat equals minus current of during combat. Max 60%, min 30%. Okay. I don't know. I think what's wrong with speed res tempo? I'm trying to understand why you would run this instead of running speed res tempo, because speed res tempo gives you 50%, which is only 10% less than the maximum of the damage reduction piercing you get from here. You do get some true damage, of course. So I guess that's the thing extra, but I don't know if this is enough to like have that HP chip. I mean, I will say it's very easy to get this. All you have to do is do 6 damage to yourself to hit the cap. But honestly, I kind of feel like it would be better if the cap was unlimited, right? I think that would actually be a lot better and a lot more fun, honestly. But we do have this cap of 60%, which makes me wonder why you wouldn't run like speed res tempo. I guess, again, it is for the true damage. And for like some HP shenanigans that you could do. But yeah, I'm trying to think of way of who you would actually use, because like, I don't know. I'm not that, at least at the current top of my head. And again, take this with a grain of salt. We could, once we get in the game, like we could be cooking with this. You never know. But from what I'm reading and from my initial impressions right now, I don't know why you would run this instead of like speed res tempo. So yeah, that's my initial impressions on this. Infantry no follow-up 4 does make sense because it counterplays with Celica's lack of NFU. And then here's the really spicy part, the emblem effect. Okay, so we boost damage by units, boost special damage by units max special cooldown count value times 4. This is not going to be that much, but it's a nice little bonus, right? Like, if you have a 1 cooldown special, it will just be 4 extra damage. If you have 2, it will be 8, and so on. And then for each foe within 5 spaces of unit can move to the nearest spaces that are within unit's range from that foe, unless space is impassable terrain. Okay. All right. By the way, I was talking about Warp Ragnarok here, and I just realized I forgot that Warp Ragnarok is probably a perf, and therefore inheritable. So all my talk about Brave Marianne is completely outdated, since this is unique to Celica. Which also makes sense because it specifies 2 spaces away, and obviously Celica is specifically 2 spaces. And so I was thinking that the emblem ring might have something similar, but no, this is just within the range. Whoops, I did not mean to click there. So I do apologize for that. Don't want me when I accidentally spread misinformation. So yeah, this is weaker than Celica because it's only 5 range instead of 4. But this does allow you to like it's interesting because like this basically transforms any range units or even melee units into cavalry units, really, if you really think about how this works. Because it only works for foes within 5 spaces of unit and only applies to the spaces that are nearest. So you cannot go behind the foe with this. It's only the spaces that are nearest to you from that foe. And so this effectively makes every unit into a cavalry unit, essentially. That's the best way I can like phrase this without drawing like diagrams on how like it would work. So this effectively turns all your nukes into cavalry nukes, all your melee nukes into cavalry melee nukes with +1 movement. And so, yeah, this is not as powerful as like Warp Ragnarok was in Engage, because there you can like warp crazy much. This effective, and you can like, actually I don't remember if you can warp behind or not. Maybe it was still nearest on there. But with the way this is implemented, this is not actually that powerful. Again, this is just turning all of your units into cavalry units, essentially. Obviously, this could be blocked with warp denial, so who knows? Maybe we'll get like a pass seal or something. But yeah, I mean, this is still obviously very, very strong, and honestly, having this on armors actually maybe not armors. Having this on just like melee nukes in general obviously would be really, really good. Maybe they can actually do something now in games. I'm having this on like range nukes, on like infantry range nukes, like, or flying range nukes. Again, this makes them have cav range. Unfortunately, this does not take advantage of Pathfinder, so they would have to be in the front. So Cavs still have that advantage of being able to take advantage of Pathfinder, of course. So this doesn't like means all your Cav are dead or anything like that, not at all. One thing that I'm very interested in this, though, is that this actually is a huge boost to Gale Force. Because like you can like use this and just warp in without having to use like Tana or Igreen or anything, and just go ham. Now, one caveat is that like you can't get through impassable terrain with this, but like there are ways to work around that, I think. So honestly, I think this is bigger for Gale Force than it is for something like Summoner's Duels, where honestly, the utility about this, I think, is there, but is not as powerful as it would be for Gale Force. I think for Summoner's Duels, it can make trading a lot easier, though. Not having to rely on like guidance or anything like that can definitely help. So I don't want to like set a wrong record and say like this is useless for Summoner's Duels. Obviously, this would be useful for Summoner's Duels, but it's limited, because also like you only have this on one unit, and if you're going to run like Cav Rush teams, like ideally all of your units will be Cavs, and like I don't think this particular maybe this will be useful on like Dagger, actually. So that Dagger can also apply like an insane threat if she's like the last one still alive or something, or hasn't acted yet. Maybe that will be where she'll be really, really good. Yeah, obviously, again, this is just initial impressions. So the thing I really like about these emblem rings is that they just offer like so much idea space on what we can do about this. And for this one in particular, unlike Ike's rings, and even like Marth rings, like there's still a lot we don't know how this will actually work in practice. Who knows? Maybe this will be really, really minor in terms of things like Summoner's Duels. We'll have to see. But I do think it'll be decently good, at least for Summer's Duels, if not amazing, depending on how things play out, if we can get good teams or not. I will say for Gale Force, though, this is going to be very, very strong. If you're not running Marthring for things like AoEs and stuff, you probably want this. Just like flat out. Like, this is so good for Gale Force because like how maps work. Like, you can literally just warp in now. And like, it's actually insane. This is insanely strong for Gale Force. I cannot express that enough because you don't need a smite bot anymore. You don't need like a guidance bot. You just literally warp in with this and just go to town. The only bad thing is that you can't run this plus Marthring in the same like time, but like, hey, who needs that anyways, right? There are other ways to charge it. Without your smite bot, you can use like I don't know, probably like Garrick or something, or like Raphael. But yeah, this emblem effect, I think, will have more impact in Ether 8 Gale Force than Summer's Duels. But again, take that with a grain of salt because I think there needs to be a lot of experimentation and testing on how it can potentially work in Summer's Duels and the team comps and things like that. It's really complicated to tell.
More Ragnarok. Emblem guide you.
I am very excited though because like I do think this is going to be really, really fun, and I don't think it'll be that like toxic against either. Honestly, like I think the Emblem Ring is pretty well designed in that it's just basically making a unit to have cav range. Basically, you just think of it as that way. If I read this correctly, of course. Yeah. You can see this here, actually, when Celica does her thing. Like, because, again, it makes it so that, like, it only affects the spaces nearest. You can't warp behind the foe to attack another foe that is beyond the 5 unit range. And so, again, like I said, this is basically like having cav range. The one thing I will say is that, obviously, you can warp to like spaces where you would normally not be able to warp as a cav, like warping through this block over here. So that is definitely something that is very interesting that has this over calves. But yeah, I don't know how much that will play into practice. But you can effectively think that Celica here has like 3 movement, just like a cav, and that melee units will have 4 movement, just like Brave Seliph, for instance. You can effectively think of it as like that. Yeah. I do think it will be really, really fun though, especially in Ether 8s. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited.
You need pruning.
All right, who's on our banner? That's the thing we need to know. We have Medius. All right, Cancer Control Fodder. We have Xander, lol. We have Embla. We have Veronica, thematic. We have Famortis. Okay. We have Goto. We have Hinoka. Okay, we do have Attuned Ivy. Okay, we have Rosado sharing and Merrick sharing. And Sita. Okay, so it is confirmed. We do have Sita and Attuned Ivy sharing with Celica. This is an insane share. Ivy has Soaring Echo and the other things, of course. Sita has Guard Echo, Distant Bonus Doubler, like the perfect tools for Omni tanking. And then obviously Celica has some really, really good emblem rings. Not as strong as I thought it would be, honestly. But she herself, I think, will be pretty nice. Resonance, I'm more iffy about. And the Emblem Ring, I think, is really, really cool and really, really strong for Ether 8s. Summer's Duels, we'll have to test that out, but I think it'll be good, at least. But yeah, blue is a really, really good banner. Colorless is not that great, honestly. Green is also not that great, honestly. And red is also not that great. Honestly, the only good color is blue. So yeah. Do I really want? I don't know if I actually want to summon on. This would be like really, really good for Gale Force, but I don't know if I need this for Summoner's Duels. I guess I can always just like wait until the end of the banner. How long is this banner lasting? Okay, so it's going to last around 2 weeks. So I'll probably think about it during that time. I do think Celica at the very least will be really, really fun though. So especially with the ring, and so I'm excited to see like what people come up with to be able to use with that. But yeah, let me know down in the comments what your thoughts are on Celica, whether or not you're going to be able to summon. And yeah, thank you all so much for watching. If you did enjoy it, be sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell, all the jazz to help support the channel. Only takes 5 seconds to subscribe, but it truly does help the channel a lot, and I really do appreciate all the constant support. And yeah, big shout outs to my members of the channel. Really, really do appreciate all the constant support. Obviously, you don't have to become a member, but if you do, like, I'm eternally grateful. And yeah, hope to see you all next time. Hope you all have an amazing rest of the day. And see you all next time. Bye, everyone.